Joining us right now for an all-out discussion on their preparations for the Tokyo Olympics, we have Luke Gebbie, who's joining us from Melbourne, Australia, and Remedy Rule, who's also joining us from Texas in the U.S. Welcome to Sports Desk, Luke and Remedy. Congratulations for making it to the Summer Games. Good afternoon to you, Luke, and good evening to you, Remedy.
Thank you.
Well, you two...
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Thank you also, Luke. Okay, Remedy and Luke, you two are set to compete in the Olympics for the first time in your young careers. Congratulations. How does it feel to finally make it to the biggest stage in sports? I'll start with you, Luke.
Yeah, it's it's everything you think it might be. It's been a dream of mine, and I'm sure Remedy's as well, since we were really young. And just to receive the email and receive the call that you're going to step up and compete for your country is just an incredible feeling. It's one of the best pieces of news I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. It's the best feeling I've had, and I'm taking that excitement into the next 2 weeks as we approach the games.
That's awesome. Remedy, how about you? Were you giddy when you found out, like, I'm going to the Olympics?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I got the official letter, I definitely felt a lot of adrenaline, and I couldn't stop smiling, and I just wanted to tell all my friends and things. And I actually went paddleboarding at like a little celebratory paddleboard with one of my friends to kind of get the adrenaline out and just celebrate that, this dream I've had for 15 years is coming true.
That's amazing. 15 years of dreaming to be in the Olympics, and here you are both. Remedy, when you found out, you said pretty much you were giddy and you had that paddleboard celebration. You clinched, of course, via universality place for the Olympics. Did it come to you guys as a shock, honestly, Remedy, or did you see that coming? What was that moment like? Like, did you know that I have a chance of making it because of the universality rule, or was it still a surprise to you when you found out that you were making it and going to Tokyo for the Olympics?
I guess both Luke and I felt fairly good about our chances going in the past few months, knowing where we stood with how some other people had been competing, but actually getting the official letter definitely made it feel all the more real.
Yeah. Well, Luke, of course, the last time most Filipinos saw you in Remedy was when you represented the country in the Southeast Asian Games in 2019. Right here was in New Clark City, and then the pandemic happened. How have you guys managed to stay shape? I know you've been asked that question because of the pandemic, but especially with swimmers, because have you guys already resumed competing? Because we know pools are one of those places that you can't be in, of course, during the pandemic.
So I guess after I actually did a training camp with Remedy in Texas, and that was, to try and start the preparation for Tokyo, and then the pandemic occurred, and, it was a bit of a heartbreaking moment. And I guess, after 2 or 3 days of kind of feeling down, you had to pick yourself back up and just prepare for the future. We all had a good kind of understanding that they would just postpone it, and we just had to instead change our plans from, maybe 6 months to 12 and adjust that way. And I was fortunate enough that here in Australia, the pools were only closed for about 2 to 3 months. And so I was just, either in the ocean where it was like 5 or 6 degrees or something like that, or, in small 10-meter house pools that friends had, or just basically run preparation. But we moved forward and we're still here.
Yeah. How about you, Remedy? Were you also looking for oceans like Luke? And the tough part as well there, not just physically but mentally.
It was definitely hard when it first happened. It had been just such a high representing the Philippines at Worlds, and then Philippine Nationals, and then the SEA Games.
Exactly.
And then Luke had visited me and Texas. And just we were like, oh yeah, look at this trajectory we're going on, and then we can qualify for the Olympics, and then hearing that it was delayed and there was a lot of uncertainty, and then also just the fear of this, unknown virus. That was definitely scary. And I moved back home to Virginia with my family for quite some time, and took the longest break I've ever taken from swimming since I started swimming year round when I was 10 years old. So that was just kind of crazy, and made me realize how much I truly love the sport when it was taken from me. And then fortunately, starting in May, pools in Texas were allowed to open up again. So I was able to come back to Texas and start training again. So it's been a wild year, but I'm glad, both of us pushed through it and been able to show all the sacrifices and extra time we put in this past year.
Well, it's all in the past now. You guys can focus on the Olympics. Stay where you are, Luke and Remedy, because they will still be with us after this quick break. You're watching Sports Desk only here on CNN Philippines, where we go all out for today's top sports stories. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us here on Sports Desk on CNN Philippines. Olympic-bound swimmers Remedy Rule and Luke Gebbie are joining us today. But before we continue our discussion with Remedy, who's in Texas in the U.S., and then we have Luke, who's in Melbourne, Australia. First, let's find out the answer to our quiz question of the day. Again, the question was, swimming is one of only 4 sports that have been part of the modern Olympics since its debut way back in 1896. What are the other 3? Remedy and Luke, maybe you want to join in. Let's pretend we're in a game show. Do you know the answer to the question? Remedy? Luke?
No.
You want to guess?
Remedy
Water
will.
polo.
What? What's that? Remedy?
Let's see, water polo, diving, and synchronized swimming.
All swimming sports? The correct answer, sorry, you don't get the cash prize. I'm kidding. But the correct answers are athletics, artistic gymnastics, and fencing. But still, a good try. Maybe next time. Luke, you are competing in the 50-meter and the 100-meter freestyle. Realistically, what do you think are your chances of winning a medal for the Philippines in those events?
I mean, anything's possible. I won't say no, but the competition is pretty stiff, so we'll see what happens when we get there and just see what my training can kind of pull through.
How about you, Remedy? You're competing in the 200-meter butterfly and also the 200-meter freestyle events. Do you already know who you're facing, and you think your chances are in getting a medal or probably 2 medals for the Philippines?
I think, similar to what Luke was saying. And as swimmers, we like to say, if you have a lane, you have a chance.
If you have a lane, you have a chance. That's a good one. Let's talk about you guys, your preparation, because it's just a few weeks away. How about your preparations or strategy, if there is any, for the Olympics? Are you doing something different from before, like preparing for the SEA Games and the Nationals? Or are you stepping it up a notch? Because this is the Olympics we're talking about.
No, I guess it's pretty simple in terms of what we've always been doing. So for the SEA Games, you would train a lot, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks before, you would try to rest your body and slowly bring the kilometers that you do per week down, slowly relax a little bit more so you're ready to race. And you kind of reevaluate how you did and then tweak the training process, and you basically copy and paste for the next competition. So what we're doing now is something we've done a lot of times before. We've fully prepared. It'll be, I don't know about Remedies, but I'm sure I can say that it's been planned out very far in advance. And over the next few weeks, we'll be beginning to rest and have more fun in the pool, do more sprinty kind of race quality sessions, more kind of aimed at our own event instead of the kind of broader spectrum of training. So it gets more fun here.
Of course, it's just gets more amplified now, especially you just have less than 3 weeks to go for before the Olympics. How about you, Remedy? Is it the same with Luke, or are you rushing or upping the preparations now? Because considering you just have a few weeks to go.
Yeah, so there's a little less than 3 weeks before the Olympics begin for swimming. And at this point, it's less about the physical and it's more about the mental game. So for me, I guess what would be changing isn't necessarily about what I'm doing in the pool, but more, talking out different fears and doubts. Yeah. Like everybody has during those high pressure situations, and knowing like, oh, hey, like, I might be a little nervous competing against Olympians and world record holders and various things like that. And then just coming back to, what I can control, and knowing like I've done the work, and basically just have to let it happen once I get there.
Yeah, just control what you can control. I like what you said there. And as long as you have a lane, you have a chance. I'm quoting you. Thank you again for joining us, Remedy and Luke. The best of luck to you. Please tell Lanny thank you. And the best of luck to both of you. Again, we just had Olympic-bound swimmers Remedy Rule and Luke Gebbie.